As of the release of the DCU's first film, aka Superman, it is no surprise that it has officially taken off. Obviously at the helms of James Gunn, who is an excellent director. He also has now started to build this universe that DC is now going to start, building upon. Obviously you could call Superman the very first project in the new DCU, but honestly, if we're going to just step back for a second and, ponder this, technically speaking, the first project of the DCU was prior to James Gunn ever getting asked to be the new head of DC, and that's Peacemaker Season 1. Now, I have to be honest. When I heard from multiple people that Peacemaker was gonna be amazing, that Peacemaker is a great show, it kind of dawned on me for a little bit, because honestly, it just felt like a bad show to me. It just honestly felt like a bad show. The trailers did not convince me to watch it. There was no sense of connection to this character. I am not the type of person who's like, oh my god, Peacemaker, this is exactly the character I want to see a TV show for. I would have accepted any other character. Honestly, if they wanted to do a TV show on Lois Lane, I'd be down for that. If they had a show for Guy Gardner, I'd be down for that. If they had a show for Mr. Terrific, I'd be down for that too. So honestly, for those types of characters, I'd be totally down for. For Peacemaker, kind of questionable. So I would say, to me, in the back of my brain, I was like, why is James Gunn even doing this project? And honestly, for me, it was one person who actually said that, hey, you should go watch it, it's worth it. And it was on his show, and it's John Campea. John Campea actually said, hey, listen, you should go watch Peacemaker because it's a lot of fun. And I feel like after he said that, I was like, okay, fine. I'll get around to it at some point. And honestly, that was a year or two ago, I would say, that I saw him say that. And only now did I actually get around to actually watching the show. So, okay. What did I actually think of it? Now, when it first starts, on the very first episode, for me personally, when I see DC attached to a project name or anything, I'm not thinking that project is gonna be filthy in any way. This show is filthy, dude. There is a copious amount of the F word thrown around in this show. I would say probably the first episode has probably the most number of F words in the first episode of a show I've ever heard. And honestly, probably the F word is thrown around in this show pretty much like punctuation. And it kind of feels like this show is dirtier than The Boys. And that is saying a lot, and The Boys is a dirty show. And I don't think you hear the F word thrown around as much as you hear it on this show, in Peacemaker. So that is saying a lot, And then obviously you have moments where you have nudity and that sort of thing. But nonetheless, honestly, really R-rated. The show is very R-rated. And as I was watching, this show and seeing how it progressed, I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, fine. I'll watch the next one. And then I'm there watching the second episode, and I'm like, okay, where is the juice? I felt like Ariana Grande, where's the juice of this show? And honestly, I was just really dragging my feet here, watching this show. it just felt like a big, dumb, sort of like heartless show that just didn't connect with. I just didn't connect with any of the characters at all. And as I continued to watch the show, I was like, okay, fine. That was an okay episode. I think on the third episode, I was watching it and I fell asleep. And then I had to pause it and only finish watching it the next day because I was like, okay, it's not going anywhere. Like, where's this show going? Like, where's the intrigue? And then the fourth episode comes around. And I'm like, okay, fine, nothing's happening. And I'm like on the verge of quitting this show. And mind you, I'm already halfway through the season. And I'm like, come on, give me something. And then the final moment of that fourth episode happens. And that is when the show clicked for me. That is when I was like, oh, so that's the twist that you've been holding on to for the past 4 freaking episodes. Really pissed me off because I was like, you could have told me this 2 episodes ago and now I would have been way more intrigued to continue watching the show. But no, it spanned 4 episodes. Okay. There I was. Final, like the very end of the 4th episode, and I was like, oh, now I gotta watch the next episode because now everything clicks. And honestly, before that, the characters were kind of boring to me. They were kind of falling flat. Okay, you have Peacemaker, and he's doing all these ridiculous things, and there's like no connection. I mean, it's like fine, okay, and then you see him interacting with his team, and it's kind of okay, whatever. And then after the 4th episode is when you start to really dig deep into who Peacemaker is, why he's the way he is, where like all these moments and emotions come from, and the reason why he's this like really big kind of pissed off, for the lack of a better word, idiot. And I feel like this is the best kind of transition that I can think of, because honestly, I just wasn't liking the show, and now I can say for a fact that Peacemaker was not all that bad. And that's when the intro started to make more sense to me. Like, this show is not trying to make itself be all serious. It's not taking itself seriously at all, with that intro. And honestly, like, after a while, you watch the first 4 episodes, and by the 5th episode, and you're already clicked into the story, that song does not come out of your head. Like, honestly, I would watch an episode of Peacemaker, fall asleep, wake up in the morning, and that song was in my head. Like, honestly, like, I cannot help but think, do you really want to take it? Like, I cannot get that song out of my head. And now I understand why James Gunn is running DC. Because it is of these little things that he is capable of pulling off. Now, obviously, you're probably asking yourself, okay, you already talked about the first 4 episodes and that they did nothing for you. What about the last 4? What about episode 5 through 8? Well, I'm honestly going to say it. They were great episodes. Absolutely great episodes. Episodes I feel like James Gunn was edging us to this moment. And I feel like once you watch the 5th episode, suddenly everything is just great, and the story is starting to connect, and the characters you care for, and honestly, each individual episode from episode 5 through 8 have their unique moments that make each episode shine, and ultimately gets you interested for the rest of the show. And that, I feel, is like the show's greatest strength. Is the moments that you have that are human and deep and truly help you question, motives of each character. And also, after hitting those last 4 episodes, that's when you also start getting better theming as well. Like, themes that are truthful to that character of not only Peacemaker, but the team that surrounds him. You talk about loss. You talk about depression, anxiety. You talk about self-worth, his own self-worth, the regrets he has in his life. And that's when you start to piece together all these like broken pieces of who Peacemaker is in all this, in its entirety, where the story is going with him. And that's, I feel like, when you truly start to see Peacemaker for who he is and not for who you think he is. And also, I think the characters and actors in and of themselves are what make this show special. What make this show click for me. Like, the action sequences are pretty good. Seeing all these characters, do their own thing is really where the heart is of this show. That's where it shines, I think they chose incredible actors to play these roles, and ultimately it's what pushes this show through the finish line. And honestly, I can say this, the show truly did surprise me on not only the casting alone, but how they were able to push the story forward as a team. Let's start off with the titular character himself, Peacemaker. I think John Cena did a great job as Peacemaker. Not only showing his more extreme moments, but also the big, deep, sort of philosophical moments that he plays in his own head. Talking about his brother, talking about his father, all these things that are kind of like traumatic to him that he has to go through in order to get out of this funk that he is experiencing. And I feel like he played this character really well, with a lot of depth, especially after the fourth episode. He really plays this character no holds back, and he puts his all into this character. And honestly, now, whenever I think of Peacemaker, I cannot get John Cena out of my head, which is a testament to what James Gunn is capable of doing as well. Danielle Brooks. I think she did a great job on this show. Now, at the very beginning, I just thought, okay, she's just going to be the dumb character that people just laugh at and everything. And obviously the show does have that character. But then you start to learn a little bit more about her, and you're like, oh, okay, so she's kind of like just playing it cool, just so that nobody knows who she is and, her background. And then ultimately you find out who she is, what she is capable of, and, the fact that she's the daughter of Amanda Waller. And ultimately, this character that in the beginning did not feel like a character I would like, in the end ended up being a character that I actually enjoyed having around. And honestly, it's awesome. I mean, I feel like Danielle Brooks did incredible in this show, playing this character that evolves and grows from the beginning to what she is at the end of the show, which is like this sort of agent character, which she grew into really well, and I just absolutely loved her. Robert Patrick, which, I mean, to all of us, we know him as the iconic T-1000 from Terminator 2. But as much as we know him as a menacing actor, and he does menacing really well, and in this show, he does menacing really well as well, he also has some comedic moments on the show. And I think he did really well. I think he did really great. He's not like a huge main character of this show, and we get moments with him, and I feel like we're going to get even more moments possibly in the next season. But I really think he did great. I think he did great in this role and really plays the role really well. I mean, he's Robert Patrick. I mean, what else can I say? He's fantastic. Freddie Stroma, who plays the dumb character. The character that I thought was going to be kind of like, Danielle Brooks' character. Freddie Stroma plays the big dumb character on the show. And I would say that he is pretty funny throughout the show. He is the comedic factor of this show. I would say to the T in every single moment. Every time he opens his mouth, it's like comedic, and it's not even deep in any way. But I feel like the best comparison I have of this character to anything else is that he's kind of like Jar Jar Binks. Except Jar Jar Binks is a little bit smarter than him. He's really like out of it. Like this guy can shoot a gun. Vigilante can shoot a gun, but Jar Jar Binks is still smarter than this guy, which is saying a lot. And honestly, Freddie Stroma does great on this show. He really does embody that sort of dumb character that's always aloof in some sort of way, or has a really big snarky comment that he has to throw out. But I think that he did a solid job, and I'm pretty sure he's going to stick around for more seasons to come. Chukwudi Iwugi. He plays the character that actually does the twist for me. When you are watching him from episodes 1 through 4, you just think that he's just an additional operative to this team. But once that end of the episode hits, in episode 4, and you find out that he is, in fact, one of those butterflies, that's when everything just clicks for me. Like, oh, so he is working as one of them against this entire mob of other characters. Very interesting. Very cool. Gotta give him props for that. And truly, like, Chuck's portrayal of this character is really well done. And then you start to understand that Myrn is and has like sort of like this really deep history. I think it's great. I think he did a great job on this show. Obviously, the last time I saw him was in Guardians 3. So to see him now is really great. Really seeing him in DC now, even though it's for a short role that doesn't last very long, he did a great job. And really brought some heart in some of the episodes, especially up until the point where he's still alive, obviously. But he definitely has some heartfelt moments with characters, just so that characters can understand where he's coming from and why he is doing what he's doing. And then obviously, you have all these characters finding out about who he is and what he represents to this team. It's really great. Really great. Chuck did absolutely great playing this character. And obviously rounding out this group of incredible characters is none other than Jennifer Holland. Seeing Amelia, be a very complex character is great. She plays it tough as a character. She has her feminine moments, but she is like 95% of the time this badass that kicks ass no matter what. And I think that she also has moments of heart, and she really does help bring this team together. I mean, honestly, she has been, and I think throughout the entire series, she was very much a leader of this team, but it doesn't officially happen till the very end of the show, where you actually see her become the leader of this sort of like tiny task force of characters, and really push through this thing. And I saw somebody online say this, and it was kind of funny. It was that they said that James Gunn directed this show, specifically in Jennifer's case, as if, his wife is hotter than yours. Like, as a joke, somebody said, like, oh yeah, he directed this show like his wife is hotter than yours, because obviously Jennifer Holland is married to James Gunn in real life. And I have to say, I understandably agree. I understandably agree that he definitely directed some of those episodes as though his wife is hotter than yours. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And to be very honest, this is the type of series that I truly did not expect to like. I saw the trailers, I saw people saying like, oh, it's good, you should go watch it. I was not expecting to like this show in any way, shape, or form. But after watching it, I do say, I can officially say that it's a good show. It's a really good show. Yeah, I'm not going to call this the greatest show I've ever watched, but it's a good show. And I think it had a solid ending, setting things up for the future. And speaking of endings, I love the fact that each episode has an after credit sequence. Just thought I should throw that in there, because honestly, it's something that I saw recently with The Office's, spin-off, The Paper. And I really love that, and I feel like doing the little after-credit sequences are awesome. They're like little cherries and little breadcrumbs you leave for people who are watching, and sometimes it's a blooper, sometimes it's a deleted scene, but I think it's awesome, and I think that James Gunn should continue doing that throughout the show and give us these little moments after credits. And yeah, I just honestly think that this show surprised me as a whole, and I can say this for a fact that even though I haven't watched season 2 yet, I have yet to watch season 2, but even though I haven't watched season 2 yet, I can definitely say that it will be better than season 1 for me personally. And hopefully that continues to rise and continue to get better and better, because I am truly excited for what James Gunn has in store for the DCU. And honestly, I cannot tell you how excited I am to watch season 2, because after hearing what James Gunn had to say in that the last 3 episodes of season 2 are going to be one of the best episodes he's ever worked on, and that there's a lot of things that are going to impact the greater DCU going forward. And honestly, like, he said that he didn't even reveal the episodes or watch the episodes with his publicist, meaning that he has been keeping whatever is going to happen in episodes 6, 7, and 8 under wraps so tight that no one has seen, which means that it must be something so epic that people are just wanting to go and watch season 2. Sort of like how I am once the season ends and I get to binge all the episodes. But that's what I thought of Peacemaker. And I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? Do you like Peacemaker? Did you watch Peacemaker? Is Peacemaker even on your radar as a show that you want to watch? I mean, I'm curious. I'm truly curious to find out what you guys think of Peacemaker, because as much as I didn't love season 1, and honestly, like, I loved 50% of the show, I want to hear from you. I'm really interested in hearing from you and what you thought of this show, if you watched it, or if you are interested in watching it. So tell me down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts so that we can start discussions. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene. Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.